This month of November looks very interesting. Kicking off the month with a beautiful new moon in Scorpio, which is a wonderful opportunity for us to call in new desires and new opportunities for us, especially wherever Scorpio rules in our chart, which we will look over in the second half of this video. Later in the month, we do have a somewhat interesting full moon in Taurus. There's a lot of opposition and square energy around the time of this full moon, which we'll get into, but this full moon does look a little bit interesting, especially with Saturn stationing direct on the same day. I feel like November is going to be the start of something bigger building for us all as a collective, especially with Pluto finally moving back into Aquarius, which does set the tone for this month. This month has a bit of a serious yet pleasant energy. We are starting to see things start to take traction or become a little bit more solidified this month, especially with Saturn stationing direct as well. Whatever we are experiencing this month in November is going to be brought up for review or revisitation later on this year and into next year, marked by Mars's retrograde cycle in its shadow period leading up to when it stations retrograde next month. So whatever challenges, tribulations, or interesting events that are coming up for you right now are likely going to be revisited. Pay attention what new opportunities or things come up for you this month, as these will likely be a key theme leading into the first half of next year. And we are experiencing our last Mercury retrograde of the year happening in the sign of Sagittarius. So this month is a mixed bag again of energy. If you'd like to see where this energy is happening for you based on your rising sign, keep on watching. Hi friends, I'm Alex. I'm an astrologer based in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and in today's video I'm going to be covering the energies that are happening throughout November, and later in the video I'm going to be covering where these energies are happening for you based on your rising sign. I do have a website. It's www.venusinvirgoastrology.com. You can see here all the different reading offerings I have if you would like to work with me one-on-one, and I do also post very regularly over on Instagram at Venus in Virgo Astrology. Feel free to follow me over there, and if this video has been helpful for you, please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below where this energy is happening for you and how you are feeling right now. Are you starting to feel this energy already, or what are you looking forward to the most this month? So just to preface this video, I do use New Zealand Standard Time format, so just adjust accordingly wherever you are based in the world. So let's get into it. Kicking off the month, we have Mercury in Scorpio trining Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So a lovely energy for tapping into our creativity, our creative thinking, maybe diving deep and getting to the bottom of that research that we might have been doing with Mercury in Scorpio. This is a lovely energy for just getting creative or getting really deep and understanding maybe perspectives or situations from a deeper level that we maybe not have thought about before. Maybe we're open to expressing and communicating ourselves in a way that is a bit more deeper, that is more in tune with our emotional realm. Maybe we're wanting to connect with spirituality more. Maybe we're just putting these ideas and emotions into place, or we simply could just be feeling really intuitive and inspired to tap into our creativity in some way. Then on the 2nd of November, we do have Mercury in Scorpio trining Mars in Cancer. So again, this energy will be revisited once Mars stations retrograde and into next year. So this is a lovely energy for getting passionate and going after your goals and tasks. Maybe you're connecting with your family or feeling like you're able to express yourself in a really deep, nurturing way. Maybe you're able to harbor relationships or communication within relationships in a way that is more from an emotional standpoint rather than more of a practical standpoint. Just maybe you're open to more passion and romance happening in a deep, intimate connection. I really like this energy for romantic partnerships. If you're going on a date, I really love this energy. It's a very passionate energy, a really positive energy. Maybe we're just feeling that connection and romantic spark, especially through communication or just how we're talking to one another. Maybe we're just feeling more compassionate in general. Also on the 2nd of November, we do have the new moon in Scorpio. This is a beautiful new moon. I love this new moon for manifesting into this last part of the year. If you're wanting to call in new opportunities, maybe you're wanting to call in new financial streams of income, maybe you're just wanting to call in a new job or just a new romantic partnership in some way, something here that you're really wanting to just get deep and call in that longevity or that depth of connection in some way. This is a wonderful new moon to do so. So at the time of this new moon, we have the moon, sun and Mercury all in the sign of Scorpio. So obviously the moon in Scorpio is in its full, so we might be feeling a little bit emotionally triggered around the time of this new moon. So if you are feeling quite emotional, that could be why, but it is a really nice new moon for just getting really deep into our emotional sphere. Maybe we're wanting to connect with our spirituality or our connection with our spirituality or the divine in some way. Scorpio is obviously the sign of one of the mystics in the zodiac, so it's a wonderful energy to really tune into this part of yourself. Yes, we all have that energy, so tuning into this area of yourself, maybe just wanting to call in or strengthen your connection in some way. Maybe this is a wonderful new moon for manifesting spells or connecting with your workings in that way, so I really love that energy for it. We do however have a trine to Saturn retrograde at the time of this new moon, which I quite like. It is retrograde, so maybe we're setting ourselves up for long-term success. That's why I feel with this energy. I feel like this new moon is a wonderful energy to tune in and to sort of reap the rewards later on. So whatever we're manifesting now will likely show up for us. Saturn's going to station direct later this month, so it could be over the next month, it could be over the next 6 months, it could just take a while to manifest. So that's that energy that I'm feeling with this sort of Saturn trine, this new moon energy. We also have at the time of this new moon a grand water trine happening with Mercury in Scorpio, Mars in Cancer, and Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So this energy, like I was saying before, with all of this positive trine energy with Mercury to Mars and to Neptune, this is a nice energy for like getting deep in how we communicate with one another, getting deep with how we communicate and express our ideas and our creativity. So really tune into that part of yourself around the time of this new moon. And obviously the new moon energy is very prominent and present at the very specific time of the new moon. So this new moon is happening at 9 degrees and 35 minutes of Scorpio, and it is happening at 1:47 a.m. So tune into this energy. This energy can last around 3 days. So obviously it's more prominent around the time of the new moon, but whatever's coming up now, really tune into it, tap into it. If you wanted to get more creative, if you wanted to strengthen your connections with others, if you're just wanting to get deeply passionate with your significant other, this is a beautiful energy for that, because the rose-colored glasses are off with Neptune retrograde. We're starting to see through the illusion, and maybe we're ready to take action on that. Maybe we're ready to really communicate and express ourselves in a way that is really connecting to our emotions around the time of this new moon. We do have Mercury forming an opposition to Uranus retrograde in Taurus, so we might have some unexpected ideas, downloads, or situations that could pop up or occur that could feel a little bit triggering, could feel a little bit challenging in some way, but it could just be unexpected. Maybe we're having an unexpected phone call or receiving unexpected information, or just having an unexpected situation come up for us that we're like, oh, this is a little bit intense, but I wasn't expecting it, so now I just have to navigate it in a way that feels right for me. There's a lot of positive energy around the time of this new moon, so whatever is coming up that could be quite challenging is likely going to be supported, but it could feel quite serious and quite triggering around the time of the new moon. We also have Venus in opposition to Jupiter, so Venus in Sagittarius opposing Jupiter retrograde in Gemini with our two benefics, so we might be feeling like our luck is running out, or we aren't feeling as lucky as maybe we are. Maybe we're feeling like we're overdoing it or doing too much when it comes to our relationships or our partnerships. Maybe we're overdoing it, and when it comes to our spending, we need to just rein that back in a little bit. Or maybe we're feeling like we're having to overspend on things because it's a situation that we can't avoid. So there could be something triggering around that energy coming up around the time of this new moon. But overall, I really like this new moon energy because I feel like it's providing us an opportunity to call in and manifest whatever it is that we're wanting to manifest and call into our life. And it is giving us an opportunity to really get deep and get creative and connect with others in a way that's really positive and forming those relationships or setting those goals that will show up for us in the long term. On the 3rd of November, we have Mercury in Scorpio sextiling Pluto in Capricorn. This energy was again present around the time of the new moon, so this again is setting us up for that long-term transformative energy. I love this energy. It's the last time we're going to experience this, guys, so it's a really nice time to just speak things into existence that you're wanting to transform your reality. Maybe you're having conversations that provide that insight or transformative energy that you hadn't quite tapped into just yet. Maybe you're just experiencing things in a way that you haven't quite understood before, but now it's finally making sense. Maybe you're having those conversations that needed to be had and are needing to be had in order to move on and close out that final chapter in your life, readying you for this next energy of Pluto moving into Aquarius. On the 3rd of November, Mercury will also move into the sign of Sagittarius, where it will be readying itself for its retrograde cycle. So Mercury in Sagittarius is all about exploring things when it comes to our reality. Maybe we're wanting to travel or expand our horizons overseas. Maybe we're wanting to plan that trip or plan that time away with friends and family and connections with others. It's about diving into learning new things, expanding our horizons and sense of our mindset. Maybe we're wanting to work on our mindset or study or learn something new or just investigate something that lights us up that we maybe haven't thought about or considered before. I love this energy for Mercury. I think it's a really creative energy for Mercury. It's obviously a fire energy. It's passionate, ruled by Jupiter. So obviously it's very expansive when it comes to exploring things, when it comes to expanding our mindset. I really, really love this energy. If you are thinking about taking on new study next year, this could be a nice time to investigate it. Obviously Mercury is going to be stationing retrograde very soon. So it's just maybe pay a little bit of caution to what you are committing yourself to just yet. Maybe just wait till Mercury's moved out of that retrograde period or retrograde cycle to really commit to that thing that you're wanting to bring in or start maybe into next year or later into this year. Then on the 4th of November, we have Mars in Cancer opposing Pluto in Capricorn. So it's kind of like that final pass of this energy. It's that final challenge that we're needing to overcome. It's that integration of that passion, of that drive, of that energy, that raw energy into that challenging transformative change that has happened for us, that is closing out, that is coming to an end of a cycle. Maybe we're just feeling that final trigger or that final push to really get out of our comfort zone and go after our dreams and go after what lights us up. We also have Venus in Sagittarius opposing Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. So we talked about this around the time of the new moon. This is when it comes exact. So obviously, like I said, we might be feeling like we're overspending our time and energy in our relationships. We just need to draw it back a little bit. So it could feel like we're like a little bit out of luck, or luck has been sort of drawn away from us in some way. We're wanting to really get out there and explore and expand and meet new people and take on new relationships and dive into new friendships, but Jupiter's kind of holding us back. It's taking this energy from us. It's sucking this energy away rather than it giving us lots of energy and abundance. We're feeling maybe more internalizing things, and we're overthinking things or overspending on things to sort of mask an emotional energy that we're not facing in some way. So it could be something to do with that. So just pay attention. I don't really like the energy around the 4th of November. So just could be a little bit challenging, could be a little bit triggering. So just pay attention to what is coming up for you. It could be something that might be revisited again, especially with that Mars retrograde. Mars will also be moving into the sign of Leo. So Mars in Leo is very passionate, very driven, an out there energy. Mars really comes alive in Leo. It's very much that showmanship type energy. It's very much that passionate drive to really go after things that light you up on a very individual level. It's that very much that individualistic energy, similar to Mars in Aries. Obviously that's Mars's home sign, but Mars in Leo is like very just driven to do things that light you up, to get that creative juices flowing. Maybe you're wanting to take on that passion project, or maybe you're just feeling more inspired to really go after what it is that you've been planning on doing, or those dreams that you've had maybe on the back burner. You're getting a little bit of a nudge to go after those. So it is a lovely energy. It will be Mars will have an extended stay in Leo for a little bit, and before it moves back into Cancer. So again, whatever is coming up for you right now will likely be revisited over the rest of this year and into next year. Then on the 5th of November, we have the Sun in Scorpio trining Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So again, a lovely trine energy, very similar energy to we're feeling at the time of this new moon. It is maybe a push to solidify something that maybe we've been working on. Maybe we're working on solidifying something to do with wherever this energy obviously is happening for us in our individual charts, but it could be to do with maybe solidifying our connection to our spirituality, to our spiritual practices, really looking at investigating our emotional world. How are we expressing ourselves? Are we holding back in some way? How can we form those really positive yet unnecessary boundaries that maybe don't feel so positive, but we're really revisiting maybe boundaries that we have on our energy, on ourselves, who we let into our circles. How can we keep our peace in a way that is still allowing those connections, but keeping a part of it to ourselves, keeping that enough energy for ourselves, filling our cup up first before we pour into others. That is very much this energy. It's a positive energy, so it's a nice energy, but it's also like, what are we holding on to? Where are we holding ourselves back? And where maybe we do need to hold ourselves back a little bit more to keep some of our energy to ourselves in order to not burn out. Possibly around the time of the 5th, that's when it comes exact. So then on the 7th of November, we have Mercury and Sagittarius trining the North Node and sextiling the South Node. So this energy is, and really positive energy. It's maybe we're expanding our mindset, and maybe we're going after those goals that we've been working towards. Maybe we're having insights or intuitive hits or downloads to do with our goals. We're just maybe feeling really inspired to push through the last few months of the year to just really achieve what we're wanting to achieve before the new year. This is the date of the 7th of November, is also when the Mercury retrograde shadow period is starting. So it is at 6 degrees and 24 minutes of Sagittarius, where Mercury will come back to once it stations direct later into next month. So just to be cautious, Mercury is now in its retrograde shadow period. Some people find the shadow period more difficult than the actual retrograde period. So just to be cautious that we are leading into that Mercury retrograde cycle. Then on the 10th of November, Venus in Sagittarius will square Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Obviously, any challenging square or opposition with Venus is usually a positive energy too, so it's a blend of both energies with this one. So we maybe are feeling like we've got a little bit of maybe nostalgia or melancholy, or just looking at things in a way that we're maybe not living up to our expectations to do with our creativity or our connection with our spiritual practices. Maybe we're just feeling like we're wanting to connect with others, but we're not sure how to really truly connect with them. Maybe we're just feeling a little bit disillusioned. Maybe we're feeling a little bit confused in maybe our financial state. Maybe we are sort of looking at things and wishing we'd done things differently. Maybe we're looking at our friendships and sort of looking at people and comparing ourselves to others in a way that is, obviously it can be a positive when you compare yourself. You can look at things that they've achieved, that I can achieve that too. But I feel like this energy could be like, they've achieved that, why haven't I? So it's just a little bit of a challenging energy around the 10th of November. Then on the 12th of November, Venus will move into the sign of Capricorn. So happy Venus return to all of those who have their Venus in Capricorn. This is the start of a new 1-year cycle for you. So Venus in Capricorn is practical when it comes to relationships, when it comes to finances. It's a lovely energy for investing in new business ventures. If you have a lot of Capricorn placements, this is a lovely energy for you. If you have a lot of Cancer placements, still a really nice energy for you. And if you have any Earth placements, placements, this will form a nice energy to those placements. So Venus in Capricorn is obviously very practical mattered, very practical mindset, and very practical around matters to do with money, friendships, relationships, investing in our own goals, our own endeavors, just really putting the time, energy, and maybe money into things that we see building up over the long term. It's very much that slow and steady like Venus and Taurus, but more so that it's like building things from a solid foundation to know that they will pay off in the long term. Then on the 13th of November, Mercury in Sagittarius will square Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So this is a challenging day. So I don't really like the energy around the 15th. It is maybe we're having challenging conversations, or just energy is coming through that's where like this is sort of just really feeling triggering. Maybe we're hitting a point where we're wanting things to sort of move faster than they are. We've had maybe a bit of a roadblock mentally, emotionally, how we communicate. Maybe we're just receiving some not great news. Maybe we're receiving things that really trigger us and maybe make us feel stuck. We're wanting to. Mercury in Sagittarius is kind of like a fast energy, but squaring Saturn retrograde in Pisces, it's slowing that down. So it's like kind of dragging our heels, so to speak. Maybe we're just really not ready to commit to the goals, to the things that are coming our way. We're just feeling like we're not quite ready to do that just yet. Something is coming up that could be quite triggering around the 15th of November. Then on the 16th of November, we do have Saturn stationing direct in the sign of Pisces at 12 minutes and 42 degrees. So things are starting to gain traction now. Things are starting to take shape, take form. I feel like things were maybe feeling a bit nebulous or up in the air. With Saturn in retrograde, we're feeling things very deeply, more internally, not so physically. If we're wanting to see things start to take action, this will start moving things forward. If you have a strong Pisces placements or strong Virgo placements, you'll likely feel this energy quite intensely, especially if you have Pisces placements, especially if it's a personal planet. You're likely going to feel like things are finally like getting serious. Stuff is starting to happen for you that is like, oh my gosh, this is like full on. This is really starting to go. Maybe not necessarily on the 16th, it could be, but now that Saturn is starting to move forward, it is gaining that momentum and that traction to finally move out of Pisces into next year. So this is kind of like that last energy of getting really serious, getting everything together, getting your A into G, using that structure and that those boundaries that Saturn's asking you to put in place. This is like you're going to bring these up and really reiterate why we needed to do this and why this is going to benefit us in the long term. And also on the 16th, we have our full moon in Taurus happening at 24 degrees and 1 minute of Taurus, and New Zealand Standard Time is happening at 10:28 a.m. So at the time of this full moon, we have the moon conjoining Uranus retrograde in Taurus, which obviously is not ideal. It's not an energy that we're not unfamiliar with, but we likely maybe are feeling quite unexpectedly triggered or challenged around the time of this full moon. We're maybe feeling unexpectedly emotional around the time of this full moon. Something unexpected is coming up here that could be just providing us with that final closure, or that unexpected closure or culmination of something that maybe we weren't quite ready for or weren't sort of planning on, but something is coming to this final ending point that we're like, oh, okay, now this has finally come to a head. Now I can finally move on from it and start planning to bring new things into my life, or just move on from this thing. It's finally coming to an end. Around the time of the full moon, we do have a challenging square to the nodes with Venus, but obviously with Venus it's not as challenging as it maybe might have been with a more malefic planet. With Venus it's still a positive, so Venus is bending the nodes, so to speak, around the time of this full moon, which could feel a little bit triggering. Venus is obviously the ruler of Taurus and it's in Capricorn, so it's not as happy there. Maybe we're feeling triggered or challenged, or our relationships or our financial state isn't quite where we had hoped or wanted it to be, and those goals that we've maybe set or worked towards this year aren't really taking that aren't really coming to fruition just yet, or maybe they are, but they're not as how we expected it to be. Something is coming up here that could feel quite triggering, maybe around our relationships, or just how we invest in our relationships. Maybe if we have the business matters, things are coming up that could feel like unexpected, transformative, challenging in some way. We also have Mercury in Sagittarius forming an opposition to Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. So maybe we're feeling like things are feeling overwhelming. Maybe we're internally feeling anxiety anxiety or just overwhelmed. Things are too busy, too much, too all of a sudden. Things are just happening too fast. This unexpected energy around the time of the full moon is feeling really triggering and just opening up things that or situations that we maybe hadn't planned on, that we're now having to deal with this aftermath and this fallout. Maybe we're like, things are coming to an end way too quickly. What is going on here? Why is all this happening right now? And what is this teaching me? What is this telling me? Something is just coming up that we're needing to sort of revisit and work on. We will likely revisit this energy with Mercury in its retrograde period. So whatever is coming up for culmination at this time of this full moon will likely be a theme throughout the Mercury retrograde cycle. We also have Mercury forming a square to Saturn, which again we just covered, but there's some challenging conversations or challenging things that we're needing to talk about. Saturn is now direct. So whatever was coming up around that square when Saturn was retrograde is likely now coming to fruition. We're like, now this is moving forward. Now I really have to have these conversations that were maybe like preluded. I had a little bit of an insight into what these might be coming up for me. Now they're actually coming up. Now this is serious. Now I have to do this. Now I have to have these conversations, these tough words with someone, or these setting these boundaries that we might be having to set because things are just being too overwhelming. We're needing to take a step back possibly. So around the time of the full moon, we do also have the Sun trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. I like this energy for just tapping into that creativity. I mean, a bit more open-minded when it comes to our connection with the collective, when it comes to our connection with our energy, when it comes to our connection with our just creative and spiritual energy and spiritual space in our life. Maybe we're just wanting to really harness our passions and energy into a more creative funnel. Maybe we're wanting to just really tune into that positive energy around us in a more internal level. Maybe we're just psyching ourselves up internally to really get through this bit more challenging time. We also have Mars in Leo opposing Pluto in Capricorn. So again, like I said, it's that final closing up of energy, which really ties into that Mercury square Saturn opposing Jupiter retrograde. Something is coming to that final closing point for us. It's closing something out that we're needing to finish up, that we're needing to be clean this slate off. We're ready to just wrap it up in a nice bow, put it to the side. It's done. Let's move on to something new. So something is coming up. Something is changing, shifting, moving around the time of this full moon, moving into this next phase of energy with Pluto moving into Aquarius not long after this full moon energy. Then on the 17th of November, we have Venus and Capricorn squaring the nodes, which we just talked about in the full moon energy. So this is when it comes exact, but it is very close to around the time of that full moon. So that really challenging, triggering energy that is coming up around the 17th, which is when the Sun in Scorpio is opposing Uranus retrograde in Taurus, which was coming up around the time of that full moon. So the Sun opposing Uranus is very triggering, challenging, like we were talking about experiencing at the time of the full moon. So something again is coming up here that we weren't expecting. They're coming up here, then we're needing to overcome it. We're needing to transmute and integrate these energies. We're needing to just move on from the situation that is coming up for us, that is maybe triggering our boundaries, that is maybe triggering our sense of vitality. We're just feeling maybe a bit drained. Maybe we're feeling just something is coming up here that we're like, I did not expect this, and now I've got to deal with it and move on from it. Then on the 18th of November, we have Mercury in Sagittarius opposing Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. So we just talked about that again at the time of the full moon, but it comes exact on the 18th. So maybe what was sort of building around the time of the full moon has come exact now. We're really needing to have those conversations. We're needing to just take a step back. We're needing to mentally prepare ourselves for this busyness that is coming through for us. Something is coming up here that we're like, we've got to deal with it. We've got to sort it. Maybe we're having an overwhelming feel of thoughts. Maybe we're just tuning into our emotional space. Maybe we're just feeling just overwhelmed in general. It is sense and energy of overwhelm, I feel like, will be quite present for the later half of this month. Then on the 19th, the Sun in Scorpio trines Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So this energy was again around the time of the full moon, but it comes exact on the 19th. So then on the 20th of November, we have Pluto moving back into the sign of Aquarius for the next 20 years. So anyone with Aquarius placements, major planets, you will be feeling this energy. If you have planets at the early degrees of Aquarius, you will be feeling this mostly. If you have early planets in in Leo, you will also likely be feeling this quite intensely. So this energy, obviously we're not unaccustomed to this energy. We've felt this energy over the last couple of years with Pluto regressing back into Capricorn and ingressing back into Aquarius, but now this is the final time that Pluto is moved back into Aquarius for the next 20 years. So this is kind of a big deal for us personally and collectively. Like, if you haven't got any planets in early Aquarius or early Leo, you will likely feel this energy, but it might not be as impactful as opposed to those with very early planets in Aquarius and Leo, especially personal planets like Sun, Moon, Mercury, Leo, Mars. If you have any of those planets, you're really going to feel this. Or if you have your ascendant in Aquarius, you're really going to feel this. So it will be a long-term transit. It might not show up right when Pluto moves into Aquarius, but it will be presenting itself over the next few years as Pluto starts to move through the sign of Aquarius. So then on the 22nd of November, we have the Sun moving into Sagittarius. So happy Sagittarius season to all of the wonderful Sagittarians out there. This is your time to shine. This is your time to step into your energy. It's all about you this month. So with the Sun in the sign of Sagittarius, it's all about tapping into that freedom, tapping into that sense of exploration when it comes to expanding our mind, when it comes to expanding our horizons, maybe wanting to look into studying or going abroad or traveling. We're just feeling more freedom that needs to be implemented into our life. We're not wanting to have those rules and regulations. We're really wanting to have that sense of freedom and exploration with the Sun now in the sign of Sagittarius. Also on the 22nd, we have the Sun in Sagittarius sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. So we're feeling that transformative, bright, sunny energy. It's like feeling like things are positive. We're feeling these positive energies come through, that we're feeling like things are just, opportunities are abundant. I feel like this energy sort of presents itself. We're maybe feeling like we're ready to embrace this positive change, embrace this transformative, potent power of Pluto and Aquarius. Are really ready to lean into and call in more of that unique energy of Aquarius into our lives. We're just feeling like we're ready for this change. We're ready for this transformation. We're ready to start and put the wheels into motion, put those energies into motion of Pluto and Aquarius. Are ready to sort of bring that energy into our lives. This is starting off Sagittarius season with a bit of bang, to be honest. Then on the 23rd of November, we have Venus in Capricorn sextiling Saturn in Pisces. So this nice energy of maybe setting ourselves up for long-term success. Whenever I see a sextile or a trine to Saturn, it's all about long-term success. It's all about setting up that great foundation. Maybe we're ready to invest in projects or things or people that are going to show up in the long term, that are going to provide those long-term results. So this is a lovely energy on the 23rd. We also have Mars in Leo trining the North Node and sextiling the South Node. So I like this energy for, like putting those positive energy and positive plans into action, really putting that drive of Mars and Leo really to use, to be honest, really going after our goals. Really, how can we achieve what we're wanting to achieve over these last few days of the year? What can we do to really set ourselves up for success? Then on the 22nd of November, Mercury will station retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius at 22 degrees and 40 minutes. So this retrograde is likely asking us to tune inward when it comes to how we connect with what lights us up. How can we bring in that sense of freedom and exploration into our lives on a very personal level? What are we doing? How are we holding ourselves back and maybe tapping into what lights us up or brings us joy or helps us feel connected to others in a way? Obviously, with Mercury retrograde, it isn't a great time to sign new contracts, to take on new debt, to make big purchases, to buy a car. If you have to do any of these things, just read the fine print, read things twice, have a second or third set of eyes, look over things. Life happens. We can't avoid always things around the time of Mercury retrograde, but it may just suggest that if we do start anything new around this time, that it may look different when Mercury stations direct. So just to keep that in mind. So then on the 27th, we have the Sun in Sagittarius trining the North Node and sextiling the South Node. So this lovely harmonious energy when it comes to revisiting where we're at. Maybe we're just taking note of how far we've come this year and how far we want to go and the goals that we still have on the table to achieve, maybe just revisiting these and asking ourselves, is this where we want to be? Does this light us up still? And how can we put plans and ideas in place to go after these and achieve these? Also on the 27th, we have the Sun in Sagittarius trining Mars and Leo. So again, really emphasizing this drive to achieve things that we want to achieve, to go after what lights us up. So the 27th is really ending this month on a real positive note, positive energy, which will be revisited when Mars does station retrograde, which we'll talk about next month. But if you'd like to see where all of this energy happens in your own personal chart, keep on watching. Aries and Aries rising. This energy of November will be happening throughout your 8th house, your 9th house, your 10th house, and your 11th house. So kicking off the start of the month, the energy of the new moon in Scorpio will be happening in your 8th house of shared resources. So if you're wanting to call in a new job or a new stream of income or just some sort of loan or just deepening your connection with your intimacy around relationships, or just around your connection with finances in general, this is a wonderful new moon to do so. So call in those new financial opportunities, set those intentions that will start to play off in the long term over into next year. If not this next few months or 6 months, it will start to show up on a tangible level. Then on the 3rd of November, Mercury will move into your Sagittarius 9th house. So if you're wanting to plan any trips away or you're wanting to travel in general, this is a nice energy for you. If you're wanting to take on that higher study, maybe you're wanting to investigate that a little bit more, or maybe you're just simply wanting to connect with new people that have a different background to you, from a different culture, really want to experience different cultures or different cultural traditions or things like that. You're just wanting to expand your horizons or mindset in some way. This is a lovely energy to do so. On the 4th of November, Mars will be moving in to your Leo 5th house. So you might be feeling the drive to meet new people, to call in your relationships, or just really feel that passion or that spark rekindle in your current romantic partnerships. You might be feeling the call to separate from romantic partnerships that are no longer working for you. So pay attention to whatever is coming up right now, as this energy will be revisited over the Mars retrograde cycle. On the 7th of November, this is when the Mercury retrograde shadow period kicks in. So pay attention to whatever is coming up for you around this time and to when Mercury stations retrograde, as these may be things that you need to revisit or review over the next few weeks while Mercury is retrograde and into when it stations direct and moves out of the shadow period next month. On the 4th of November, Venus will move in to your Capricorn 10th house. A wonderful energy for you to do with any career aspirations or working towards career goals, or just projects or public things that you've been working on. I feel like this is a lovely energy for calling in new clients or calling in new job opportunities. If you're really starting to call on that new financial stream of income, you might see things start to kind of manifest or show up with Venus transiting this energy in this house for you. On the 16th of November, Saturn will be stationing direct in your Pisces 12th house. So has been probably a little bit challenging with Saturn transiting your 12th house these past few months. So with Saturn stationing direct here, things are maybe starting to feel a little bit more serious. Things are starting to take more solidifying form. Maybe you're starting to really feel that a little bit more melancholy or serious energy to do with things happening behind the scenes for you. Maybe you are getting serious about working on things that you needed to be worked on behind the scenes. Maybe you're just feeling like you're ready to start putting those boundaries or those energetic boundaries in place in order to protect your mental space and to protect your peace. And on the 16th, the Taurus full moon will be happening in your 2nd house of finances. So again, this is a very much a financial month for you, as you're very well aware. This time of year tends to highlight these areas for you. So these obviously have been houses that have had a lot of transformation and change over the past few years. So maybe you are finally seeing something come to fruition, finally seeing a job really take form or finishing up. Maybe you're having projects or things going to kind of come to fruition, especially with Venus transiting your 10th house. Maybe you are starting to see this energy show up in a way that's really tangible for you. Maybe things are just finally coming to a close. You're finally closing up that deal. You're wrapping up that deal. You're wrapping up that sale of a house, or you're wrapping up that energy to do with your home, maybe to do with getting a loan of some sort, or you're really wrapping up something to do with that kind of energy in your life. Something to do with your values. Maybe you're really finding a job or aligning with work that really connects with your values, or maybe you're just seeing something just come to fruition when it comes to do with your finances, something unexpected unexpected here that is kind of coming to an end, that you're like, finally that chapter has come to a close, I'm ready to move on from that. So something is coming up financially here for you around the 16th of November. On the 20th of November, Pluto will move into your Aquarius 11th house. So it's finally wrapping up its transit through your 10th house. You've had a lot of change and transformation happen to your career. Now it's this change and transformation is happening to your connections. It's happening to your friendships. It's happening to your networking, to do with your hopes, dreams, and wishes. Something is going to be transformed. You're not going to be the same person as you are now in the next 20 years. You're going to go through a deep transformative energy in this house for you. I think this is a really nice place to transform for you, Aries rising. It will provide a lot of opportunity to call in maybe new friendships or new connections within new hopes, dreams, and wishes that you might have that you maybe weren't sort of thinking of before. But I would say over the next 20 years, you're really going to have this deep change and transformation to do with what lights you up, what are these goals that you're going after, and how can you achieve these, especially if you have strong Aquarius placements, or especially if you have strong Leo placements. You're really going to feel this energy around the 16th and into the next couple of years. You can maybe start to find things transforming and showing up for you quite tangibly. The 22nd of November, the sun will move into your Sagittarius 9th house, really highlighting that drive, that passion when it comes to putting yourself out there, going after new ideas or new horizons, or expanding your mindset, or just connecting with others from a foreign culture. Maybe you're trying new cuisine, maybe you're just trying out new places, or going new places, or exploring new places that you haven't maybe explored before, or maybe you're really thinking of planning that trip or going overseas to just really expand your mindset in that way. Then on the 26th of September, Mercury will station retrograde in your Sagittarius 9th house. So maybe these travel plans have already happened, or you're in the midst of traveling, or you're planning on traveling. So just double, triple check things. Allow yourself enough time to get there. Understand that delays, shifts, and changes may happen. So just being flexible with this will be key to surviving this Mercury retrograde. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Aries and Aries rising. Neptune, sacrifice. So this energy of Neptune obviously has been quite prominent this month with all the Sagittarius energy and all the Scorpio energy that we've had. Neptune retrograde is happening in your 12th house of your subconscious realm, of your dream space. So pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to this energy. Maybe the veil is thinner this month. So paying attention to maybe those intuitive hits, that intuitive energies that you have maybe coming through to you, especially when Neptune is really making these prominent aspects and angles to our personal planets. There could be some opportunity to connect with your creative mindset or your creative energies, or just maybe connect with people or open up in small circles that help you feel safe to really tap into that emotional world, or that inner psychic that you have, that we all have, and tapping into this energy for you this month. So all up for you, Aries and Aries rising. This will be very much a financial month, focusing on maybe calling in new financial opportunities. Maybe you're planning some travel, you're going on some travel, just to make sure to take your time and to allow for shifts and changes towards the end of the month with that travel opportunities. And there could be some nice energy happening to do with your career, and with Pluto moving into your 11th house, there's some change and transformation on the way to happen within your networking, your friendships, and your hopes, dreams, and wishes. So for Taurus and Taurus rising, this energy of November will be happening throughout your 7th, your 8th house, your 9th house, and your 10th house. So kicking off the beginning of the month, the Scorpio new moon will be happening in your 7th house of one-to-one contractual agreements, your client work, or working with people on a one-on-one basis. So maybe you're wanting to call in new clients, maybe you're wanting to call in clients that really align with you on a deep emotional level, calling in new contractual agreements, so new opportunities for work. This is a wonderful new moon to start calling that in, to show up over the next few months. Then on the 3rd of November, Mercury will move into your Sagittarius 8th house. So a really lovely transit for you to start those conversations around your other people's finances, around your shared resources. Maybe you're wanting to call in or have those conversations, or start looking at or investigating a loan, or looking at your taxes, or filing your taxes taxes, or just sort of researching things here for you. Maybe you're just wanting to start the process of applying for something. I feel like this is a really awesome energy of just calling in new work, especially with that new moon just happening in your Scorpio 7th house. This is a nice energy to really start calling in those work contracts to come through and start paying you potentially as well. Then on the 4th of November, Mars will be moving into your Leo 4th house, so there could be some challenges or just drive or passion to do with maybe shifting and changing things to do with your home. Maybe you're feeling passionate to really separate yourself from certain family situations. Maybe you're wanting to remove yourself in order to keep the peace, or to keep a sense of to protect yourself in some way. Maybe you're needing to separate yourself from a certain home space, or maybe you're just ready to let that home space go. Maybe you're ready to separate yourself from where you're living, or you're just ready to go after the right space for you. Maybe you're feeling passionate to call in a new home space, to really like change or transform it in some way. Maybe not transform, but change it in some way, cut it down or cut things down, or just change it up, shift it up to really help you feel passionate and inspired. So then on the 7th of November, this is where the Mercury retrograde shadow period will start to manifest and start to take traction. So just to be conscious and aware, if you are having important conversations around your shared resources or to do with a loan of some kind, there could be an extended conversation needing to happen around this that will likely play out over that Mercury retrograde period, because it's starting to take place now. On the 12th of November, Venus will move into your Capricorn 9th house. This is a lovely energy for maybe going on some trips or planning some trips away, or connecting with romantic partnerships overseas, or just investing in overseas travel in some way. Maybe you're wanting to just explore your horizons. Maybe you're wanting to explore new work opportunities overseas. This is a nice energy to do that. This is a nice energy to maybe go overseas or go plan a trip with your significant other. Maybe this is just a really lovely energy to just put yourself out of your comfort zone, Taurus rising, and just to plan that trip, or to take that trip, or start looking at areas that you might like to explore, or people you might like to connect with. On the 16th of November, Saturn will be stationing direct in your Pisces 11th house. So having those boundaries and bringing in that structure again to do with your hopes, dreams and wishes, and your connections with your friendships and your networking circles. So something is coming through here that's needing to be solidified, that those boundaries are needing to be re-put in place. Maybe we've had time to revisit what these boundaries are, and we're needing to put them in place now in order to have that structure and those boundaries. So pay attention to what's coming up here for you. Also on the 16th, you will be having the full moon happen in your first house of self. So this full moon is likely going to feel quite personal, as all full moons in Taurus for you likely do. But this full moon will be bringing something up to the surface that needs to finally end, needs to finally close out a chapter in life that needs to end. Something is coming up to the surface here for you that you really need to pay attention on, that could feel quite personal and triggering. Could be to do with your career, that could be to do with your client working, or one-to-one working with people. Could be to do with your home and family life. Could just be to do some unexpected thing to do with yourself that is coming up finally to a close. Then on the 20th of November, Pluto will move into your Aquarius 10th house. So you are about to undergo some deep transformation when it comes to your career, when it comes to public reputation for things you have achieved, when it comes to just going after what it is you want to achieve. Your career in some way is going to look very different over the next 20 years. So this is the start of this energy taking place for you. You've likely had a taste of this earlier in these last couple years, but now it's really going to be very full on and intense for you over the next 20 years, especially if you have any personal Aquarius or Leo placements at that early degree. You'll likely feel these quite tangibly, quite quickly over the next couple of years. And on the 22nd of September, the Sun will move into your Sagittarius 8th house, again bringing in this energy of other people's money, of shared resources. This is going to be a focus for you this month and into next month, especially with the Sun and Mercury staying here. There's going to be a big revisitation of whatever maybe you've been working on earlier in the year, or just sort of looking at taking those first steps around maybe looking at loans or looking at investments in some way. Something is coming up here that you really need to pay your attention and put your energy into, that will likely pay off maybe in the longer term or shorter term, but it is starting that process over this next month. Then on the 26th of November, Mercury will station retrograde in your Sagittarius 8th house. So this is where we just need to pay a little bit of attention to what we're working on, pay a little bit more attention to what's coming up, and we're maybe needing to just, if we're wanting to seriously plan or sign anything, just double, triple check everything, read the fine print, take your time. If you can avoid it, if you can extend it out and wait till Mercury is direct, I would suggest to do so, especially if it comes to signing legal documents. However, if that can't be avoided, just make sure to double, triple check it all. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Taurus rising. That one jumped out. Literally what we were just talking about, Mercury retrograde. So reinvention. So I do think that this Mercury retrograde cycle will be quite prominent for you, Taurus rising. I feel like pay attention to what's ever coming up, and like I said, if you need to take your time or have another set of eyes look over things, please do. Please ensure that if you are signing legal documents, that you are having your own legal team or legal person look over these documents for you to give you the best legal advice. That's what I would suggest, just to really pay attention to what is coming up, and just take your time if you can, and wait till Mercury stations direct, because I feel like this Mercury retrograde may be quite a strong one for you. So all up for you, Taurus rising. And again, another focus on finances, a focus on travel or expanding your mindset in some way, focus on calling in new one-to-one contractual agreements or partnerships, maybe something coming to a close to do with your physical self or what you've been calling through. Maybe those very personal manifestations are starting to take action, starting to come to fruition, and then some structure or boundaries that are needing to be put in place to do with friendships or your networking or your hopes, dreams and wishes in some way. Gemini and Gemini rising. This energy of November will be happening throughout your 6th house, 7th house, 8th house and 9th house, kicking off the start of the month with the Scorpio new moon happening in your 6th house of work, co-workers and daily routines, along with your health. So this could be a lovely opportunity to manifest maybe a new work space or environment, or work opportunities in general. Maybe you're wanting to call in some new health regimes or fitness regimes, or just some better health in general. This is a lovely new moon to do so, setting those intentions to show up tangibly over the next 6 months. Then on the 3rd of November, Mercury will move into your Sagittarius 7th house, opening up those doors and opportunities to connect with new clientele that help you feel expansive in achieving your goals or going after your goals, or just connecting with people that feel like they just get you or see you, or just something is coming up here that will likely be quite a theme going into that Mercury retrograde cycle. Then on the 4th of November, Mars will move into your Leo 3rd house. So there could be some drive or motivation to really communicate and express yourself in a way that feels really authentic to you. Maybe you're wanting to express your ideas or just connect with people or travel locally. Maybe you're wanting to just really separate yourself from maybe your local space. You maybe wanted to try out somewhere new, or maybe you're just ready to have those conversations that you're ready to finally move on or separate yourself from situations that don't maybe appreciate you for who you are and what you bring to the table. On the 7th of November, this is when the Mercury retrograde shadow period will start to begin. So if you are having those conversations with people, bringing in those new client work or signing new contracts, just make sure to double, triple check them from this point onward until Mercury is out of its shadow period. If you want to wait and do this afterwards, that's perfect. But if you can't, just make sure you double, triple check everything going forward. On the 12th of November, Venus will move into your Capricorn 8th house, bringing in this lovely harmonious energy to your shared finances or other people's money. Maybe those work opportunities are starting to pay off. Maybe those new streams of income are starting to open up, or maybe you're ready to invest in things that will help grow these streams of income over the long term. Then on the 16th of November, Saturn will station direct in your Pisces 10th house. Could bring some new structure or boundaries to do with your work, could bring some serious undertones to do with your work, or projects you've been working on, maybe things are finally coming to an end, are finally like showing up tangibly for you, or maybe you're just ready to set those boundaries in place to have a bit more of that work-life balance. Also on the 16th, the full moon will be happening in your 12th house of Taurus, so there could be some unexpected spiritual downloads or insights that come through to you around this time that you're maybe not really expecting or might not be quite ready for. Something is coming to an end, something is coming to a close that is readying you for this next 20-year cycle. Because then on the 20th of November, Pluto will move in to your Aquarius 9th house, which could be opening up the doors for you to travel, expand your horizon or mindset in some way. It will form a trine at some point to your ascendant or any planets that you might have in your first house of Gemini. So this could be a really wonderful time to just get out of your own way, to step into this new version of yourself, expand your mind and connect with others that might broaden your worldview. Then on the 22nd of November, the Sun will move into a Sagittarius 7th house, just really emphasizing and reiterating this highlight of working with people, working with one-on-one clients, calling those one-on-one clients and calling in those new contracts. And then on the 26th of November, Mercury will officially be retrograde. So like I said earlier, if you have any contractual agreements that you're working on or working on signing, just make sure you double, triple check all of these before putting that pen to paper. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Gemini rising. This one just fell out. So Chiron, looking at that Chiron, the Chiron's obviously in Aries in retrograde. So Chiron is the wounded healer. So Chiron teaches us where we can heal and then help others heal, help teach that for others. So for you could be healing something to do with your networking, your friendships. Maybe you're healing those friendships that don't feel aligned with you. Maybe you're healing your connection to your hopes, dreams and wishes, and letting go of hopes, dreams and wishes that are no longer aligned with who you are and who this person you're becoming. And maybe you're just ready to let these go. Maybe you're ready to finally look at those internally. Chiron is a very internal energy, so maybe you are ready to put that into motion, put that into action. Chiron will likely form a sextile or has formed a sextile to your natal ascendant. So these changes or healing that you've been doing could feel quite personal. So all up for you this month, Gemini rising, there's a focus on your health, your well-being, your workspace. You're going to be calling in a new workspace or work environment or new health routines or regimes. A focus on your one-to-one client work or calling new clients into your life. Some focus on other people's finances, and finally deeply transforming, broadening your horizons in some way. And then some structure to do with your career and your public achievements over this month. For Cancer and Cancer rising, this month of November will be focusing on your 5th house, your 6th house, your 7th house, and your 8th house. At the beginning of the month, there will be a new moon happening in your Scorpio 5th house, which is a wonderful time to manifest and plant the seeds of calling in any new relationships, maybe some new hobbies or energies into your life. Maybe you're wanting to manifest deeper connections with your children or children in your life. Maybe you're just wanting to manifest a new relationship in general. So this is a lovely new moon to plant those seeds of intuition and to call that into your life. Then on the 3rd of November, Mercury will be moving into your Sagittarius 6th house. So there will be a focus on communication to do with your work, your health, your daily routines. Maybe you're just wanting to expand your connections with your colleagues. Maybe you're just wanting to study or learn something new about your job, or learn new routines or a new fitness workout or new ways of nurturing your body. So this could be coming up around the time of the 3rd of November. Then on the 4th of November, Mars will be moving into your Leo 2nd house. So there could be some challenges or separating yourself to do with different streams of income for you. There could be something coming up here that could invigorate you or inspire you to go after your goals, especially financial goals when it comes to aligning yourself with work that lines up with your personal values. Maybe you're feeling really driven to achieve those goals that you've been working on. Then on the 7th of November, this is when the Mercury retrograde shadow period will start. So just to be conscious of this, if you are thinking of buying or investing in different things to do with work, or you're signing new work contracts or signing up for something new, just make sure you triple check that fine print, especially towards the end of the month, but it will start to be quite present around this time. Then on the 12th of November, Venus will move into your Capricorn 7th house. I love this energy for you, for calling in new client work, for calling in your relationships, really deepening or investing in your relationships. I love this energy for you with Venus transiting the 7th house. You might find those relationships start to pay off, especially in the long term. Then on the 16th of November, Saturn will station direct in your Pisces 9th house. So maybe setting those boundaries, or really aligning yourself with people that fill your cup up, to do with broadening your horizons or broadening your mindset in some way. It's likely feeling like you're really needing to put these boundaries in place if you're needing to do a lot of overseas travel. Maybe you're like, nope, I'm putting my boundaries up, I'm not doing too much, I'm staying quite close to home. Could be something coming up to do with that around the time Mercury stations direct. So on the 16th, you will have the full moon happening in your Taurus 11th house. So something to do with your friendships or your connections or your networking or even your hopes, dreams and wishes. It's coming to a close, coming to an end. You're shifting, maybe you're finally closing up or wrapping up that goal. You've achieved it, you can tick that one off. It's time to move on to something new. Something unexpected is coming to a close, coming to an end, coming up for you to review, let go of, and just really, it's coming to a culmination point for this full moon. It's a big one. Something is coming up here for you to finally close off, because then on the 20th of November, Pluto will be moving into your Aquarius 8th house. So there's going to be a deep transformative energy to do with your finances, your shared resources, how you make your money, debt, inheritances, and your intimate, deep connection with others and with your finances in general. So your finances are not going to look the same as they have over these past 20 years. The next 20 years, they're going to look a lot different. So pay attention to what's coming up, especially if you have any personal planets in the early degrees of Aquarius or Leo. You're likely going to feel this energy quite intensely, and things might show up for you quite tangibly over the next couple of years. Then on the 22nd of November, the sun will move into your Sagittarius 6th house. So really keenly identifying those work situations or things you're thinking of implementing. Maybe you're feeling really driven or really passionate to start something new. Just broaden your perspective and horizon and mindset to do with your work, your daily routine. Maybe you're just wanting to embrace that sense of freedom and not have a rigid structure in your daily routine. So this could be something you're investigating or feeling quite passionate about. Then on the 26th, this is when Mercury will be stationing retrograde in your Sagittarius 6th house. So again, if you're investing in something, buying something, especially big ticket purchases, or if you're wanting to invest in any study or shift and change your work in some way that involves signing something, just triple check it. If you can, wait till Mercury's direct, but if you can't, as we all have life that does not wait for things, just make sure you have another set of eyes, look over anything important. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Cancer and Cancer rising. Twelfth house, escape. So if you have any planets in the 12th house, you currently have Jupiter in your 12th house of Gemini. So Jupiter is retrograde as well, and Gemini's ruler will be stationing retrograde soon. So it could be emphasizing for you to maybe take some time aside to really dive into that inner world, to pay attention to your dreams, what's coming up for you, to pay attention to your mental health if things are feeling overwhelming, just to take a step back and pause, to really just take some time aside to just allow yourself to move at your own pace. It could be asking you to just really pay attention to your dreams and just really pay attention to where you are, maybe escaping a bit more than you possibly should be, or maybe where you do need to just escape reality for a little bit in order to just sort of work through any challenges that could be coming up. So all out for you this month, Cancer, is a focus on your relationships, maybe calling in some new relationships, maybe focusing on your health, your routine, your daily work habits, your co-workers in general. And there are some big shifts and changes going to happen to your financial status, your finances from other people, your debt, inheritances. Something is going to be transformed here. It's going to start kicking off from this month onward. And then some shifts, changes, and maybe some boundaries that need to be put in place towards any travel or expanding your horizons or mindset in some way. So for Leo and Leo rising, this energy of November will be happening throughout your 4th house, your 5th house, your 6th house, and your 7th house. Kicking off at the start of the month, there will be a new moon happening in your 4th house of home and family. So this is a wonderful new moon to call in any new home spaces that you're maybe wanting to call in a new home, or just call in a new space that feels like home for you, to really deepen your connection with your family, to maybe call in new family connections in some way. This is a lovely new moon to start planting those seeds of intuition. Then on the 3rd of November, Mercury will be moving into your Sagittarius 5th house, which will be a bit of a theme over this month and into next month, with Mercury stationing retrograde here. Mercury in your 5th house is a wonderful energy to connect with and communicate with maybe your children or romantic partnerships in your life, or really just invest time and energy into your hobbies and what lights you up. Because then on the 4th of November, Mars will move into your Leo 1st house. So we'll be really focusing on what invigorates you, what inspires you, and what motivates you. You could be feeling really driven to separate yourself from anything that isn't lighting you up, to really be inspired to take action on things that aren't lighting you up. So pay attention to what's coming up, because these will also be themes that will be quite present over the next few weeks, with Mars stationing retrograde next month. And on the 7th of November, this is when Mercury retrograde shadow period kicks in. So if you are signing anything important or agreeing to anything that's quite substantial around this time, just pay attention. Just make sure you double triple check anything, and just know that whatever's coming up, you'll likely be revisiting over the Mercury retrograde shadow period and Mercury retrograde station next month. Then on the 12th of November, Venus will move into your Capricorn 6th house. This is a lovely energy for calling in new work opportunities, or just investing time in your work, investing money in work that's going to pay off in the long term. Maybe investing in your health, because your health is always something incredible and important to invest in. So this is a really nice transit for you to maybe feel like you can invest in that area in life for you, and it is going to feel like it's the right thing to do. And just paying attention to investing maybe in your work relationships or your relationships with your colleagues in some way. And on the 16th of November, Saturn will be stationing direct in your Pisces 8th house. So we'll be bringing in those boundaries that maybe you need to put in place with maybe spending or investing, or just making sure you're clearing up or cleaning the slate. If you have any debt that you need to pay down, this is a great time to do so, because this will pay off in the long term. There will be a full moon happening in your Taurus 10th house that could bring some unexpected endings or changes or shifts to do with your career and public reputation. Things are likely coming to a head. Something is coming to a culmination here that needs to come to a close, because then on the 20th of November, Pluto will be moving into your Aquarius 7th house. So we'll be really deeply transforming, closing off an old chapter, moving into a new chapter to do with your one-to-one workings and client relationships, to do with your contractual agreements. Something is being deeply transformed here. Maybe if you're married, your marriage is likely going to go through a deep transformation in a really positive, potent way. Because then on the 22nd of November, the Sun will move into your Sagittarius 5th house. So really emphasizing this lovely energy to do with your relationships, to do with your relationships with your children, really invigorating this area in life for you, and really putting your energy into deepening those connections, and just really broadening your mindset and having that sense of freedom when it comes to expressing yourself in your relationships. Then on the 26th of November, Mercury will be stationing retrograde in this 5th house for you. So this is important to note, that whatever is coming up over this month and into next month will be revisited. So again, any important documentation, any big purchases, any big investments, just double triple check everything before progressing forward. Let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Leo and Leo rising. Cancer, I feel. So obviously your Cancer 12th house, leaning into any Cancer placements that you might have. Mars is going to be moving back into your Cancer 12th house next month. So just paying attention to this energy and this shift of Mars throughout your 1st and 12th houses. What is coming up here that needs to be, you need to separate from, that you need to remove yourself from? Where do you need to do a bit of a spiritual cleanup, so to speak? Are there any spiritual ties that you need to cut? Are there any cords you need to cut that have been maybe energetically pulling you back holding you back in some way. I think it's another emphasis to take note of the dreams or intuitive hits that you have come through, Leo rising. So just paying attention if you have any major Cancer placements. This could be just asking you to tune into this energy and understand what sort of things might be coming up for you, especially to do with this new moon in Scorpio and full moon in Taurus. So paying attention what comes up what comes up around the time of these lunations, especially to do with work-life balance and home and work life in general. So all up for you, Leo rising. It is going to be a focus on home and family, a focus on culmination or something coming to a close to do with your work, some really nice energy to do with maybe revisiting or looking at relationships, maybe old relationships are maybe popping up out of the blue, and then a really nice energy of investing in your work like life and your health in general, and also some deep transformative energies starting to kick off, happening in your 7th house this month. So for Virgo and Virgo rising, this energy of November will be happening throughout your 3rd, 4th and 5th houses, and also your 6th house. So at the beginning of the month, we will be kicking off with a new moon happening in your 3rd house of communication. So a wonderful energy to really call in maybe new study opportunities, new local travel opportunities, just opportunities to really put your voice out there to be heard, understood by those around you, to be understood by your networking, your friendships, maybe just calling in new friendships or just opportunities in general. Then on the 3rd of November, Mercury will be moving into your Sagittarius 4th house. So identifying this energy to do with your home and family life. Maybe you're ready to have those conversations with your family, having those this really nice energy to do with your home life. Maybe you're researching new areas to live, maybe just wanting to expand your horizons in some way to do with where you're located. On the 4th of November, Mars will be moving into your Leo 12th house. So there could be a little bit of psychological or deep rooted energy to do with your psyche that could be coming up to the surface. Maybe you're ready to separate yourself from situations that have been holding you back. Maybe you're ready to just pay attention to your dream space, pay attention to your mental health, just pay attention to what's coming through to you subconsciously, because these will likely be big themes that will be revisited over Mars's retrograde cycle. Then on the 7th of November, Mercury's shadow period of its retrograde cycle will be starting to kick off in your 4th house. So anything that you're maybe looking at, maybe investing in or researching new areas to live, don't sign those contracts just yet. Just pay attention to what's coming up, and if you can wait until Mercury has stationed direct. But if you can't, just triple check everything, especially towards the end of the month. Then on the 12th of November, Venus will be moving into your Capricorn 5th house. This is a lovely energy for Venus. She loves being in that 5th house. So if you're wanting to call in new relationships, wanting to invest time and finances into your hobbies or your children in some way, this is a wonderful transit to do so. Maybe you are just calling in new relationships into your life and deepening them and investing in them because they're going to pay off in the long term. So this is a nice transit for that. Then on the 16th of November, Saturn will be stationing direct in your Pisces 7th house. So there will be some energy to do with your contractual agreements or your one-to-one connections in some way that could be coming up to the surface and need to get quite serious around, maybe setting boundaries around, or things are just getting quite serious in this area. Maybe things are starting to move forward that have maybe been on hold for a little bit, but now they're starting to move forward and progress. Maybe clients are coming back out of the woodwork that are ready to finally sign on that dotted line for you. So there's something that's coming up and starting to progress forward from the 16th. There is also a full moon happening in your Taurus 9th house on the 16th of November. So there could be something that's coming to a close, maybe some travel plans, or going overseas or connecting with people from overseas, or maybe some legalities are finally coming to an end, coming to a close, because then Pluto is going to be moving into your 6th house of work, daily routines, your health, your well-being. So something is coming up here that maybe is coming to be transformed over the next 20 years. You're ready to step out of that old cycle into this new cycle. It is going to be deeply transformed in this area in life for you over the next 20 years. Your health, your work, your connection with your co-workers is all going to be transformed. Then on the 22nd of November, the Sun will move into your Sagittarius 4th house. So really putting your energy into and investing in your home and family life, that energy that's lighting you up, that you're really identifying things that do need to change, shift, or you need to have more space and freedom around. Mercury will then also station retrograde on the 26th of November in your Sagittarius 4th house. So Again, this is not a great time to sign new contracts if you're wanting to sign a new lease or a new home contract of some sort, or something to do with your home and family. Just make sure that you double, triple check everything, as this energy is a little bit uncertain. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Virgo and Virgo rising. Sagittarius, I see, which we're literally just talking about your Sagittarius 4th house. So again, I think this 4th house energy is going to be really present and prominent for you. I feel like this month you're going to be focusing a lot on your home and family life. So if things have to shift and change and you need to do any legalities around this, I would really recommend having another eye look over things, having a legal team look over things if you can. So just make sure you take your time with agreeing to things, as they may turn out to be different when Mercury is direct again. So all up for you, Virgo rising, will be a focus on how you communicate and express yourself, your home and family life, maybe some lovely investing or new relationships that come into your life, the beginning of a transformative period to do with your work, your health, or your just co-workers in general, and also some new boundaries or things starting to get the ball rolling in terms of your one-to-one connections or your contractual agreements with others this month. So for Libra and Libra rising, this energy of November will be happening throughout your 2nd house, your 3rd house, your 4th house, and also your 5th house. At the beginning of the month, you will be kicking off with a new moon in your 2nd house of finances. So this is a wonderful new moon to call in new financial opportunities that align with you on a deeply emotional level, that align with your value system, just calling in new streams of income. This is a wonderful new moon to do so. On the 3rd of November, Mercury will be moving into your Sagittarius 3rd house. So communicating and expressing yourself will be a lot easier with Mercury moving into this house for you. So really sharing your ideas, putting your ideas out there. Maybe you're looking at booking some local travel or connecting with your local network and local community in some way. On the 4th of November, Mars will be moving into your Leo 11th house. So you could be looking at separating yourself, or shifting or changing or investing in relationships that light you up or inspire you, or maybe you're separating yourself from old network connections that no longer align with the goals and dreams and wishes that you're working towards. On the 7th of November, this is where the Mercury shadow period will start to kick in. So if you have any important documents that you're signing or sharing, or any important things, just take your time with signing them or agreeing to them, because Mercury will be stationing retrograde at the end of the month, and these things likely will look different when Mercury is direct. So just pay attention to what's coming up for you. And on the 12th of November, Venus will be moving into your Capricorn 4th house. This is a wonderful energy for investing in your home, investing in your family, that will set you up for the long term, or really just investing in your home space to make it feel like a wonderful foundation for you to grow and feel really at home and inspired in. On the 16th of November, Saturn will be stationing direct in your Pisces 6th house. So work could have felt a bit up in the air, is likely feeling a lot more progressing now. So things are going to start shifting and changing and progressing forward with Saturn now in a direct motion. Things might feel a lot more serious. They likely felt a little bit like there was a room to breathe with Saturn in retrograde, but now that Saturn's direct, things will start to feel a little bit more serious again as Saturn starts to build up momentum. Also on the 16th of November, the Taurus full moon will be happening in your 8th house of finances. So there could be some unexpected endings or unexpected insights, shifts, or changes happening around the time of this full moon. Things are coming to a culmination point that could be to do with your finances, that could be to do with other people's money or inheritance or debt of some kind. There's closing up a chapter in order to shift into this new phase of life, with Pluto moving into your 5th house on the 20th of November. So Pluto is going to be transforming your connection with your children, if you have children in your life, with your romantic partnerships, or just with your hobbies and what lights you up. So there could be some really deeply transformative energy around this time for you, especially if you have any personal Aquarius or Leo placements. So just pay attention what's coming up, as these will start to manifest over the next coming years for you. Then on the 22nd, the Sun Sun will move into your Sagittarius third house, really, again, identifying those things you really want to share, communicate, or study, or invest time in, or energy into, to broaden your mindset or horizons in some way. And then on the 26th of November, Mercury will be stationing retrograde in your Sagittarius third house. So again, anything legalities that need to be signed or looked at, or anything that is coming up that you're really needing to invest or buy, just triple check everything before signing that dotted line. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Libra rising. That one jumped out. So lunar eclipse. So lunar eclipse, you have had a lunar eclipse in your sign not so long ago. So this may be bringing to a close or bringing to a head something that you had been working on. It might have come up for you, especially with this new moon in Scorpio. Things might be starting to progress and move forward for these new changes that need to be implemented or that you're wanting to call in. Or it could just be asking you to lean into your emotional world and understand what it is that needs to come to an end, what needs to come to fruition, and what needs to come to a close. So all up for you, Libra rising. This is a lovely energy to manifest or call in new streams of income. Something is coming to a close financially here for you. There could be some shifts and changes happening to do with your family life, to do with your romantic partnerships, to do with your children, to do with what lights you up, your hobbies, and also some shifts and changes to do with your work, your daily routines. Things are starting to gain momentum again, and then a focus on how you communicate and express yourself, and also investing time in your family and home life this month. So for Scorpio and Scorpio rising, this energy of November will be happening throughout your first, second, and third houses, and also your fourth house. At the beginning of the month, there is a wonderful new moon happening in your first house of self. So this is an opportune time to call in new opportunities or new investments or new situations that you can really invest your time, energy, and money into. Maybe you're wanting to call in some new opportunities that where people really see you and see this new version of yourself that you've been working so hard to step into, to really put yourself out there. Maybe there are some new opportunities that you want to call in with for travel, or expanding your mindset or horizon in some way, or maybe some new work opportunities. This is a lovely new moon to do so. Then on the 3rd of November, Mercury will be moving into your Sagittarius second house. So this is a nice energy to really look at how you can communicate and express yourself that will help you call in new work opportunities or new streams of income, to really put into motion that energy. There will be a bit of revisitation happening around this area in life for you. So whatever you're wanting to invest in or open up doors for right now will start to show up maybe after Mercury has stationed direct, but this will be a focus of how you communicate and express yourself, and aligning yourself with work that aligns with your sense of values or your value system. Then on the 4th of November, Mars will be moving into your Leo 10th house. So you might be separating yourself, or really driven to separate yourself from old work. Maybe old work projects are finally coming to a close, that you're ready to call in something new. Maybe just really feeling driven and inspired to achieve your goals, and to really put your goals out there, and to go after things in a more public manner. Then on the 7th of November, this is when the Mercury retrograde shadow period will start to kick in. So any of those conversations or communications that you have been having around your finances could be revisited, or could start to be identified as things that will be revisited around the Mercury retrograde period. On the 12th of November, Venus will move into your Capricorn third house. So this is a lovely energy for investing in how you communicate, how you some study that you might be thinking of taking on board, investing in your mindset in some way that will help set you up for success down the line. Then on the 16th of November, Saturn will be stationing direct in your Pisces 5th house. Finally, this energy is starting to progress forward. It has been a bit of a break for you having Saturn in retrograde in your 5th house, but now with Saturn direct, things are starting to gain traction and gain momentum again, with Saturn picking up speed. So things might start to feel a little bit more serious in this area in life. Your relationships could start to have a bit more of a serious undertone, or people could start taking you more seriously, especially when it comes to your hobbies or things that light you up. Also on the 16th, you will have the full moon happening in your 7th house of one-to-one partnerships and contractual agreements. agreements. So some maybe old client work is finally coming to a close here. You're ready to close that chapter and move on to something new. Something is coming to a culmination here for you that needs to end, because then Pluto will be moving into your Aquarius 4th house on the 20th of November for the next 20 years. So there's going to be some deep transformation happening to do with your home and family life. So whatever is coming to a close around the time of that full moon is coming to a close for a reason, because it's readying you for this next chapter in your life. Then on the 22nd, the sun will move into your Sagittarius 2nd house, really identifying those conversations or situations that could be coming up to do with your finances or calling in new streams of income. On the 26th of November, Mercury will be stationing retrograde in your second house of finances. So this is when it will finally be important to really double, triple check everything. If you're signing any new documentation or investing in any big purchases, this is the time where you really want to pay attention. Double, triple check anything before you sign and agree to it. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Scorpio rising. Again, Mercury retrograde, have had this card already, this readings, but Mercury retrograde is going to be a big focus for you, I would say, being in your second house of values. So it would be really important to just pay attention to what's coming up, pay attention to what you're calling in, pay attention to what you're spending on, as things maybe look a bit different when Mercury stations direct. So all up for you, Scorpio rising. There will be a focus on your sense of self this month, calling in things that really align with you on a deeply personal level. A focus on your finances, something's coming to a close to do with your shared resources or other people's money. A focus on how you communicate and express yourself, investing maybe in some study or investing in some local travel. And then a big transformative energy really kicking off again in your 4th house of home and family. And something serious is maybe coming to a head or starting to gain traction in your 5th house when Saturn does station direct this month. So for Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, this energy of November will be happening throughout your 12th, 1st, 2nd and 3rd houses. At the beginning of the month, you will be kicking off a new moon happening in your 12th house of Scorpio. So this is a wonderful new moon for really calling in new opportunities for you to invest in your mental and spiritual health, maybe calling in new connections with people that you can really open up and connect with on a really deep level, really on a deeply emotional level. Then on the 3rd of November, Mercury will be moving into your Sagittarius 1st house, which will be a big theme for you this month and into next, especially with Mercury stationing retrograde. So this will feel really personal. I feel like this will be a really revisitation of your sense of self, who you are and how you appear in the world. Then on the 4th of November, Mars will be moving into your Leo 9th house, exploring some new horizons or cutting off connections that no longer help you feel expansive. Maybe you're ready to let go of old study or old travel plans. You're ready to shift and change this and remove yourself from situations that maybe hold you back or keep you feeling small and unable to express yourself at your fullest potential. Then on the 7th of November, Mercury will enter its shadow period. So anything that's coming up for you personally right now will likely be a theme this Mercury retrograde period, but it will start to sort of kick off around this time. So just pay attention to what's coming up, as this could be a theme for you this retrograde cycle. On the 12th of November, Venus will be moving into your Capricorn 2nd house. This is a lovely energy for investing in your finances, to calling in new streams of income that really helps set you up for the long-term longevity and success and whatever that you are choosing to invest your time, energy and finances into. On the 16th of November, Saturn will be stationing direct in your Pisces 4th house. So these challenges that might have been sort of burnt on the back burner recently to do with maybe your home and family life are likely coming back up to the surface and starting to gain traction and momentum for you to really look at and pay attention to. So things are likely starting to feel a little bit serious around this time. As then on the 16th, there is a new moon happening in your Taurus 6th house. So there could be some unexpected changes, challenges or shifts coming up to do with your health, your daily routines, your co-workers, or your work in general. So something is coming to a close here that you need to close up and finish up, because this is leading up to Pluto moving into your Aquarius third house, really transforming how you communicate and express yourself. Any study that you're thinking of doing, maybe your local neighborhood is changing and shifting for the better. Maybe you're really wanting to shift and change and maybe invest in more travel, or just put yourself out there more and express and communicate yourself, as this will be changing and shifting for you over the next 20 years. Because then on the 22nd of November, the sun will move into your Sagittarius first house, really identifying and highlighting your sense of self and really focusing on these key themes that are coming up for you to do with this Mercury retrograde cycle. Because not long after that, on the 26th of November, Mercury will be stationing retrograde. So we'll be really bringing in themes of your career and your one-to-one connections with others. Maybe you're really revisiting how you physically show up in terms of your career and how you make your money and how you put yourself out there. Is it aligning with you? Is it needing to be shifted or changed in some way? How can you have that sense of freedom to really express yourself to your fullest potential? So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. Seventh house of partners, which obviously is going to be an area of sort of focus this month for you, with Mercury stationing retrograde in your first house. Mercury rules your seventh house. So looking at your connection with your partnerships, looking at your one-to-one connections, are these needing to be shifted? Are these needing to be changed? Are they needing to be calling in new clientele that aligns with you on a really personal level? You have Jupiter in your seventh house at the moment, which is probably bringing in an abundance of people or abundance of clients your way, but are they truly connecting with who you are and how you're wanting to connect with them in a way that's authentic to you and allows you to have that freedom to express yourself? So all up for you, Sagittarius rising. There will be a focus of your sense of self this month, a focus on your emotional and mental health and your spiritual connection, focus on investing in your finances and things that are going to pay off for you in the long term, a deeply transformative energy to do with how you communicate and express yourself, and maybe some boundaries or serious energy around your home and family life towards the 16th Wednesday. Saturn does station direct in this house for you. So for Capricorn and Capricorn rising, this energy of November will be happening throughout your 11th house, your 12th house, your first house, and your second house. So at the beginning of the month is a wonderful new moon to call in any new networking opportunities, any new friendships into your life, any new hopes, dreams, and wishes that you're really wanting to invest your time and energy into that will manifest and show up over the next few months. Then on the 3rd of November, Mercury will be moving into your Sagittarius 12th house. So there could be a call to work on things behind the scenes or really investigate things that are more hidden or more private in your life, to really focus on your mental health, to focus on maybe withdrawing from society for a little bit. So this will likely be a theme over this next Mercury retrograde period. On the 4th of November, Mars will be moving into your Leo 8th house. So there could be some separation or challenges or things that are coming up to do with other people's money, shared resources, debt or inheritance in some way. Maybe you're feeling really driven to pay down some debt. Maybe you're really feeling really driven to separate yourself from income streams that are no longer aligning with you, that are no longer feeling inspiring or passionate for you in some way. Then on the 7th of November, Mercury will be in its shadow period. So just taking note of things that come up around this time, as this may be an indication of what the themes will be over this Mercury retrograde period. On the 12th of November, Venus will be moving into your Capricorn first house, which is a wonderful energy for investing into investing in yourself. You're likely feeling more magnetic or more inspired to call in finances or people into your life that align with you on a really deeply personal level, really investing in yourself that will show up and pay off in the long term. On the 16th of November, Saturn will be stationed direct in your Pisces third house. So communication or expressing yourself in a way that feels deeply authentic authentic or aligned with you, especially someone ruled by Saturn, will likely start to gain momentum and gain traction from the 16th onwards. So any projects or study or just how you're communicating, expressing yourself in general will likely start to gain momentum and traction from the 16th of November. Also on the 16th of November, there is the Taurus full moon happening in your 5th house. So there might be some closing up or finishing up, or something's coming to a culmination to do with your relationships, your romantic partners, or any hobbies that you might have, or if you have children in your life, any issues that might have been coming to the surface will likely be coming to fruition and coming to a head, because this will be something that you're needing to close off in order to step into this next cycle. Because leading up after that, on the 20th of November, Pluto will be moving into your 2nd house of finances. So this area in life for you is going to be deeply transformed over the next 20 years. So if you have any personal planets in Aquarius or Leo, you're really going to feel this energy really intensely. You've likely already had a taste of this energy earlier in the year or in last year. So whatever came up around that time will likely be revisited now and really implemented over the next 20 years. So on the 22nd of November, the Sun will also move into your Sagittarius 12th house, really identifying that need to maybe withdraw or take some time behind the scenes a little bit to work on things privately before sharing things or putting things out into the world. And then on the 26th of November, Mercury will station retrograde in your Sagittarius 12th house. So again, really emphasizing this need to take things slower, to slow down, to not agree to things straight away, to maybe take your time, maybe just hold tight until things kind of come to the surface, or things maybe aren't so much as they seem right now. So things maybe start to become clearer once Mercury moves out of that retrograde cycle and then into your 1st house of Capricorn. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Capricorn and Capricorn rising. That literally just fell out. So North Node, life's purpose. So obviously the North Node is currently in Aries, which is in your 4th house of home and family. So there could be a focus on home and family this month, especially around that new moon and that full moon. So there could be some energies happening here for you to do with your home and family life, but there could be just some energies around your home and family life that could be shifting and changing and coming to a head, coming to a culmination point, maybe coming to the surface this month. So all up for you, Capricorn rising. There will be a big focus on your sense of self this month, maybe taking some time to withdraw, work behind the scenes before sharing anything just yet, keeping things a little bit more private, and calling in some new energies to do with your friendships or networking or hopes, dreams and wishes. And then maybe some transformations starting to occur around your financial energy, your finances, your value system, and also something coming to the surface or starting to gain traction or momentum around how you communicate, express yourself, and maybe some study that you might have on the back burner. So for Aquarius and Aquarius rising, this energy of November will be happening throughout your 10th house, your 11th house, your 12th house, and your 1st house. So kicking off the start of the month, you have a wonderful new moon happening in your Scorpio 10th house. So this is obviously just a wonderful time to call in any new work opportunities to put yourself out there, opportunities to call in that public recognition, any opportunities to just really get your work recognized by those who need to see it. On the 3rd of November, Mercury will be moving into your Sagittarius 11th house. This is a nice opportunity to connect, to deepen those networking connections, to deepen those friendships or relationships in your life, and really revisit your hopes, dreams and wishes and how they are aligning with where you're at and where you're wanting to go. On the 4th of November, Mars will be moving into your Leo 7th house. So there could be some separating of old contractual agreements, one-to-one clientele that no longer align with you, that no longer inspire you or light you up. So there could be just some separating needing to happen here, or you could be feeling driven to call in your relationships that really do light you up and inspire you. On the 7th of November, this is where Mercury retrograde shadow period will start to kick in. So any communications you've had with people or networking, if you're talking about anything serious that you really want to get off the ground and get out into the public sphere, there could just be a little bit of a slowing down of this energy, or just pay attention and really reread things that you're putting out there, because Mercury will station retrograde at the end of the month. So this is kind of like a prelude to what that energy will be in store for you. Then on the 12th of November, Venus will be moving into your Capricorn 12th house. So you could be really wanting to invest in things behind the scenes, invest in your connection with the spirituality, invest in your mental health, just really sort of take things slower and just keep things out of the public eye. Maybe you have a new partnership that you're just wanting to really keep private for now before you put it out into the public space. On the 16th of November, Saturn will be stationing direct in your Pisces second house. So if things have started to be a little bit stagnant or not moving forward as quickly as you had hoped, or these serious changes or boundaries you're putting into place to do with your work, income, and your value system, now you're needing to put these into place and get things going again. The Saturn is going to start ramping up and moving forward. So things are likely going to start feeling a bit more serious and a bit more, things are moving again now. Also on the 16th, the full moon will be happening in your Taurus fourth house, really identifying some shifts and changes and closing off of any energy to do with your home and family life, to do with your home and work-life balance. Something is coming to a shift, change and close here, because this is readying you to step into this next 20-year cycle with Pluto moving into your first house on the 20th of November. So obviously this is a huge transit that you've had a little taste of over the last couple of years, but this will really kicking off from the 20th of November onwards, especially if your ascendant is in the early degrees of Aquarius, or if you have any personal Aquarius placements, you will be really feeling this energy. So just know that over the next 20 years, you're going to have a really deeply personal transformation, that you're not going to look, feel, or be the same on the other side of this 20-year cycle. So just know that this is the beginning of that process, and just to really embrace the change. Don't run from it, embrace it. Then on the 22nd of November, the sun will move into your Sagittarius 11th house, so really identifying those friendships, those relationships that could be a really key energy for you with this Mercury retrograde happening on the 26th of November. So if you have anything important to sign, to put out there, just make sure you double check it, reread it, and just have another set of eyes look over it, because Mercury retrograde is always fun like that. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Aquarius and Aquarius rising. That one did not want to go back into the pack, so it is the 10th house, the world. So obviously you have that new moon happening in your 10th house. I think that new moon's going to be quite potent and powerful for you. So I do think really taking the time to put aside, taking the time to carve out that manifestation ritual, to carve out setting those intentions around calling in new work for you, calling in that public recognition that you so deeply deserve, and just calling in new opportunities to really put yourself out there. So all that for you, Aquarius rising. This will be a month of really calling in new work opportunities, calling in new recognition for yourself and your work that you've been doing, really investing in things behind the scenes, keeping things a little bit private, and really opening up the conversation for new friendships or networking opportunities, or just revisiting your hopes, dreams and wishes, and how you're aligning with these, and if they fit with this new version of yourself that you're becoming. And also some maybe shifts and changes and getting serious around your finances and value system this month. So for Pisces and Pisces rising, this energy of November will be happening throughout your 9th house, your 10th house, your 11th house, and your 12th house. Starting off the beginning of this month, you will have a really wonderful new moon happening in your 9th house of travel, of connecting with people from overseas and foreign cultures, and expanding your mindset and horizon in some way. So this is a wonderful energy to call in new opportunities to do so, to call in new travel opportunities. If you're really wanting to plan that international holiday, this is a wonderful new moon to set the intention and get that ball rolling. On the 3rd of November, Mercury will be moving into your Sagittarius 10th house, really expanding and identifying areas for you to look at and maybe revisit to do with your career and public reputation and achievements. Maybe you're needing to revise what you're putting out there, or your work or your career, and how you're connecting with the space in general. Then on the 4th of November, Mars will be moving into your Leo 6th house. So there will be some shifting, changing, and maybe some removing yourself from work situations or situations that are no longer inspiring you or invigorating you in some way. Maybe you're needing to let go of old health routines, or health regimes or fitness regimes in general that are no longer feeling motivating to you, and just needing to shift and change it to get maybe out of a bit of a stagnation or a funk in some way. Then on the 7th of November, Mercury will be stationing in its shadow period in your 10th house. So identifying the themes that will be coming up this month will be very much to do with your 10th house and your career. So there could be just this general revisitation energy to do with revising how you're putting yourself out there, your career goals, what you're achieving, and how you're being publicly recognized for the work you're doing. On the 12th of November, Venus will be moving into your Capricorn 11th house. This is a lovely energy for investing in friendships, relationships, or networking connections that light you up and inspire you in some way. So really investing time, money, or energy into these will be a wonderful use of this transit's energy. On the 16th of November, Saturn will be stationing direct in your first house. So Saturn has been a bit of a bully in your first house these last few months and years, so it is kind of coming to its end, coming to this final sort of quarter of Saturn being in Pisces. So just knowing that whatever is coming up now is kind of pushing you out of that comfort zone, really setting those boundaries for yourself, setting those energetic boundaries, and really getting into this next phase and this next step in your life, and really changing things for the better. Maybe things are starting to really progress forward that have felt a little bit stagnant these past few months. Also on the 16th, you will have the full moon happening in your third house of communication, of study, of local community and local travel. So there could be something coming to a close here. Maybe something is coming to a close with how you're communicating, expressing yourself. Maybe you're receiving some unexpected information or insights or downloads to do with things you're putting out there, to do with how you're communicating, to do with your one-to-one connections, to do with maybe even your home and family life. So something is coming to a close here that is readying you for this next phase, readying you for this new cycle of Pluto then moving into your Aquarius 12th house on the 20th of November. So that you're going to be going through some deep psychological transformation, which was likely feeling quite challenging, but it's really building your mental space and your mental health and your connection to the divine, and really transform this area to be the most potent version of yourself. I feel like there's a lot of strengthening here and breaking down any old constructs or any old limiting beliefs that you might have around yourself and what you can achieve. So if you have any personal Aquarius or Leo placements, you will likely feel this energy quite intensely. Then on the 22nd of November, the sun will move into your Sagittarius 10th house, just really identifying and lighting up that area in life for you. This is a big focus on your career this month, so there is likely some revamping or rehauling your career in some way, especially because the sun does rule your 6th house. So I do feel like there's a lot of just this really revisitation when it comes to what you're actually doing and how you're putting yourself out there. Because then on the 26th of November, Mercury will officially station retrograde. So if you're signing any important contracts, signing any important documentation to do with your career, just make sure you have a second or third set of eyes look over it before you sign on that dotted line. So let's have a look at what the cards have in store for you, Pisces and Pisces rising. That one just flew out. Literally. Air element, communicating. Obviously we have a lot of air transits at the moment, so for you, you have a lot of energy happening in your 12th house with Pluto moving into that this month. You have Jupiter in retrograde in your 4th house, and you have the South Node in your Libra 8th house. So this is going to form obviously a grand air trine for you in your natal chart. So there is a lot of communicating and a lot of 3rd house energy this month, especially with that full moon happening in your 3rd house. So there's a lot of communicative energy, especially with this Mercury retrograde in your 10th house, the most public house. So just pay attention to how you're communicating and expressing yourself this month. There might be some changes that need to be had, some conversations that need to be had, and just some deep changes that are just happening in the works, but they're for the greater good. You're needing to let go of maybe some things in order to make room for others, and have those difficult conversations that will open up new doors for you that might not have been available to you before. So all up for you, Pisces and Pisces rising. This is a huge focus on your career, how you communicate and express yourself to do with your career. Calling in new opportunities to travel or put yourself out there and expand your mindset and horizon in some way. Investing in your friendships and your connection with others, and also some deep psychological changes that are happening with Pluto moving into your 12th house, and then some boundaries that are needing to be set around yourself and your energetic space this month and moving into this months ahead for you, Pisces rising.